We're back on Route 66. It's day 2 of traveling west to east on Route 66. Myself, my son London, and we are just outside of Kingman, Arizona at one of my favorite places on Route 66. My favorite stretches. We're about to hit the legendary Oatman Highway, but first, a stop at Cool Springs. This place was originally built in the 1920s. They had all kinds of little tourist cabins you could stay in, but in the 1950s, this entire Oatman Highway we're about to drive was bypassed. They built a bigger, newer section of Route 66 and a much flatter, less curvy one. Cool Springs fell into disrepair, was eventually abandoned, fell down, was blown up, actually, rebuilt and blown up for a movie called Universal Soldier with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and then rebuilt in the late 1990s, rising from the ashes like a phoenix. It's been replicated in Cars Land, at Disneyland, in one of the lines. It has been just an iconic part of Route 66 for the last 25, 26 years. One of those really inspiring stories, you know, you can't kill an iconic Route 66 attraction if the people have the will to rebuild. Look, you can see the original stone here, a little whiter in color. That's been out here since the late 1920s and 30s, and then look at that, you can see the rebuilt portion above it, a little darker stone. The stone's a little bit different color. That is so awesome. Now, normally, I'm here in the off season, so it's usually either closed or there's sort of a honor system, kind of tables with some souvenirs. I usually try to avoid the busy summer season, partly because it's like over 110 degrees today, also partly because it's usually busy, and it was busy here earlier, but you get these stretches where everybody leaves and you feel like you got the whole place to yourself, which obviously really rocks. No, this isn't rock. Look at this. These are from lightning strikes right there. Look at this. This is like a mineral created by lightning hitting the ground and creating these little things. That is bizarre. Look at this. You got your old railroad spikes with little mine stuff on them. You got your rocks and your gems, your crystals. Oh, awesome. Route 66 signs. Actually, signs of every size, shape, and description over here. Nice picnic table to sit at. You got some visible gas pumps right here. And look at the scenery in the background. I love this. The first time I got to come here when it was open, it was pretty bare bones, but they have upped the merch game out here big time. Oh, I love coming to this part of the Mother Road. I love seeing stuff like this. These are old oil pumps. When you went to the old gas stations, you needed to change your oil a lot more often back then. You pump the oil out of these thingies right here. I mentioned tourist cabins. They are all long gone now. They got this little shack behind here that looks more like a storage shed than somewhere to spend the night now. Actually, all along the highway between Kingman and Oatman down here, an old mining town, there were numerous little old tourist courts and little camping areas for the old Model T travelers. Some still remain, but they're closed to the public. But at least here at Cool Springs, you can still see the old service station. Go inside, get yourself a snack, a souvenir. And boy, have they upgraded this place. This is awesome. Look at this, I love this. Check out our nuts. They got a lot of nuts in here. Ooh, and fudge. Does anyone ever actually eat these? Have you ever eaten one of these? How does a scorpion taste? Uh-oh, we're seeing our first Cars merchandise. That first Cars movie was so good, dude. One of the best movies Disney/Pixar has ever made. What in the world is this? Burrow in a can? You can get a little plush Burrow in a can? Okay, that's amazing. Look at this, the best attraction at Cool Springs. The kitty. Hi, kitty. She lives here. Aww. Her name's on the sign outside. I wish I could remember her name. Oh, we made a friend. She's never gonna want to leave. Look where they keep her food. Look at her food right there. You hungry? No, she just wants company. Maybe a snack. Oh, look at these. These are some old original oil bottles. When you used to buy oil from the store, it didn't come in a plastic container. It came in one of these glass containers with these little metal spouts on it. See these on American Pickers all the time. What do you think, Frankie? I'm an oil can guy. I'm an oil can guy. Oh, dude, I don't think we're ever going to leave Cool Springs. This might just turn into a cat video. Aww. Oh, there you go. I know it's kind of hard to see. You can see it burned down in 1966, the original. Then rebuilt, blown up for a movie, and then finally rebuilt again between 2002 and 2007. Hey, dude, that's the year you were born. Weird. Oh, there you go. Her name is Misty. How cute. Now, I created a series of hand-painted little Route 66 signs, and I left one here at Cool Springs, but somebody eventually stole it. Also left one at the Jackrabbit Trading Post. That one got stolen, so I think all the signs I left got stolen. I didn't have time to make new ones for this trip, but next trip, next trip. All right, we had to start with Cool Springs. but now it's time to hit the road. And this is not just any road. Not only is it part of Route 66, obviously, but the Oatman Highway heads up into the mountains here, up into Sitgreaves Pass. You can see even from the beginning of the road leaving Cool Springs just how windy and twisty it really is. But then you start to gain elevation and the side of the road becomes just sheer cliffs as you get higher and higher into this landscape. It is one of, if not the gnarliest, twistiest, steepest part of old pre-1950s Route 66. It's a little hairy sometimes when RVs are coming the other way, but it's pretty darn fun to drive. And this was all gold mining territory. This is all Old West shootout territory. So you're traveling the old wagon road paths that all of our ancestors traveled. In fact, it's hard to spot from the road, but if you wander around in some of these valleys, you can still find portions of the actual old wagon trails themselves. Dude, it's a little bit dodgy, a little bit steep, a little bit crazy. When it says 15 miles an hour, you really need to listen. But we're taking a break here, halfway up the mountain, for some Route 66 Oatman Highway secrets. Most people have no idea about these two things. I've known for years about this first one, but never seen it myself because the highway is so twisty. You're focusing on the road and there's no sign to get here, or that is, there's usually no sign. But check this out. Today, as we've been rolling up the Oatman Highway, on the ground, someone has spray painted a fish. Now, why would someone spray paint a fish on a road on the side of the mountain in the desert? Because this is the site of the secret fishbowl of Route 66. Now, the Oatman Highway started out as an old wagon road leading to old gold mining camps and stuff like that. But in the 1940s, the WPA, during the Great Depression, came up here and they were building the highway to be a little bit more modern, a little bit wider, a little bit safer. And one of the workers, a fellow with the last name of Shaffer, noticed a little seep, a little area where water was dripping out of the rocks up here on this cliff, and created something amazing. So we're about to hike up this mountain, well, or at least the side of the mountain, up these handy dandy concrete steps, which are so easy to miss when you're driving by worried about the cliffs on either side of you. And I'm hoping to get my first look at the secret Route 66 fishbowl. Oh, I can already see water trickling out. I can also see 50,000 bees. Not London's favorite thing. Not my favorite thing out in the desert where it could be killer bees, but let's see if we can get a closer look. Oh, mother, father, sister, brother. There are so many bees, but look at that. A lot of algae in there. Supposedly, there are goldfish still in here. At different times, people have dropped off goldfish in here, minnows. I'm trying to get a better view, but the higher I get, the more bees I can hear. Oh, wow, that is so cool. Seeing that up here when all around you is just dry desert. It's 110 degrees. I almost just want to get in there and take a swim. If it weren't for those darn bees. I've been watching for a while, dodging bees. Haven't seen any goldfish in here today. There's quite a lot of algae, so if they're down low, I can't see them. London's keeping a distance from the bees there. It's gonna take a fun pick of me over here at the fishbowl. That's a fun one. I'm gonna send it to my grandma. Okay, look at that. Amazing. Some of the wild burros that are still roaming this area because of the miners, and we'll talk about them more in a little bit, come and drink out of this. So this is a boon to wild animals. Man named Shaffer, 1930s and 40s, Works Progress Administration. You could thank FDR for that fishbowl right there. All right, please don't fall off a cliff, son. No cliff diving into the fishbowl, please. Dude, so many bees. They are angry. They are angry. See, bees like water too. Oh, they're bumping into me. They're bumping into me. They don't like me. Whew, I see we have some more fishermen pulling up. All right, time to go just a little farther up the road because our next Route 66 secret isn't that far away. We've come around the bend just a little distance to the peak here, to Sitgreaves Pass itself. Elevation 3,550 feet. I almost said 300 feet. Not 300, that's for sure. But the crazy thing is, just a few feet back from the summit itself, right around where my car is parked, when you came around this last bend winding up to the pass, back in the 1940s and 50s, you would have found ice cream up here. Look at this, just here off the road, you can still see where the Summit gas station was. You can see a little bit of the cribbing, or the, not really cribbing, but you can see sort of the retaining wall there. You can see where the gas pumps were. This was probably an old light pole right here. Obviously, not much is left. You got some wild burrow scat here. Scoop, scoop, bop, bop, doo, scat. Couple of small concrete remains. But it wasn't just gas, it was the Summit Gas and Ice Cream store. And the ice cream part of it was located right up against the cliff. Man, last time I was here, you could still see some of the posts. That's not one of them, but there were some posts and railings here from where the actual ice cream shop was. We're sort of standing on the foundations here on the shoulder of the road. But imagine coming here on a day like today when it's over 110 degrees, turning this corner. Don't you wish you had some ice cream right now? Yeah, you wish you had some ice cream. But imagine licking a friggin' ice cream cone while you're looking out at all that desert and no water. Well, except for the fishbowl right down there, if you know where that is. See, most people just think this is a big wide turnout before the pass. You can park and take a picture of the pass sign. They don't realize that this is an ancient site of ice cream. Obviously, this road was bypassed in the late 1950s, and then in 1967, the remains of the Summit gas station and ice cream store burned down. So after 1967, the ruins have just disappeared more and more until it's no longer one of those cool roadside ruins. Now, it's just a memory of the past and a little Route 66 secret. Okay, this is gonna get even twistier as we head down from the pass. The road is windy. The cliffs are even more treacherous. You can actually see old wrecks on the side of the mountains here. It's a little sketchy, but that's what makes it fun, dude. A little adventure action on old Route 66. You actually see a lot of sort of modern gold mining operations. They've never really stopped mining up here. It stops for a few years and they restart, it stops, it restarts. It's beautiful, man. Look at this. Who decided to build a road through this? And then look, I love this spot here because you can really see all these dead man's curves where the sign tells you to go 10 miles an hour. You can see how tight those hairpins are. And then down there's one of the many casualties of old Route 66, man. That car's been there for a long time. You got to take these curves slow, especially because you never know when a big RV is going to whip around the corner. All right, couple more twists and turns to get to where we're going. By the way, the Oatman Highway has 191 turns in an 8-mile stretch. That's why it's so gnarly. It gets a little hairy, gets a little twisty, but it's all part of the adventure. And we're just 2 miles away from our next destination, the legendary, the world famous, the epic Oatman, Arizona. Dude, I love this frickin' town. Look at it, it looks like something out of a movie. In fact, Oatman has been in the movies, specifically in How the West Was Won, one of the most epic Western films of all time. Gold was discovered out here in the Black Mountains in 1863. So people have been mining out here for a long time. Lots of old buildings, very cool stuff. But the most famous thing about Oatman, Arizona are these, the wild burrows, literally left over from the miners when they were using burrow power, and they just left the burrows out here where they didn't die, they thrive. You can actually buy burrow feed in town and feed these guys, and you can usually pet them because they're so used to tourists feeding them, petting them. If you roll your car windows down and you're the only car in town, they'll stick their heads in the car. Dude, these guys have been out here for 150 years. The tourists love them, and you're gonna see jackass signs all over the towns, referring, of course, to the donkeys, not to me. Although I guess I fit right in here, huh? It's a great place for kids, because like, you know, you take a kid to the Hoover Dam and they get to say dam a bunch of times. You bring a kid here and they get to say jackass over and over. Now, ever since Route 66 started coming through Oatman in the 1920s, it's been a popular tourist stop for the burros, for the old ghost town flavor. It's hard to tell now what's original to the town from the 1800s or the early 1900s and what came later and was really more in the era of tourism and westerns, but does it really matter? It's all old school. It's all Oatman. It's all the old West. Dude, I love this on the side of the antique shop. There's so much rusty gold over here. It's like the American Pickers. Stores in here have literally everything you can think of. Everything from work gloves to East African wild Cape buffaloes, tools, books, Felix the cat, London's. Dude, look at all those tractor seats. That is sick. Okay, that's perfect for this town. Donkey party. Got oil bottles, oil cans. London and I are buying a souvenir. Look at this pickaxe head. Sick. Old glass insulators from the telephone and power poles. Dude, I think how hard it is to keep my antique store booth stocked at home. I just wonder how they do it. London wants a sword. He wants a Route 66 sword. Or that thing. I think it's for a bayonet. What is that for? A long pistol? Better let him out. Dude, I really need some wagon wheels. Anybody want to haul some wagon wheels home for me sometime? The antique shop may be my favorite, or one of my two favorites, really. But there are so many shops here with jewelry, with antiques, with art, Route 66 souvenirs of every size, shape, and description. You got burro food out here for these. Look at just standing in the road, just getting some sun, buddy. That's cool. You like a scratch? Aww. I love the way they sit on the sidewalk. They're like, we own this town. This is my shade. Uh-oh, I made a friend. I made a friend. Hey, buddy. We can be friends, that's cool. Just don't kick me, okay? It's weird because at the moment, everything's open. There's food, there's souvenirs everywhere. I'm used to coming here in the off season and there's almost no one in town. I mean, the burros are already here. I have never been here when this many businesses are actually open. This is my favorite thing about America and old tourist attractions and old tourist towns is the hand-painted signs. I love stuff like this. Look up there above this restaurant. You see that? Olive Oatman Restaurant Ice Cream Saloon. Olive Oatman was actually kidnapped by Mojave Indians. There was a massacre. They killed her whole family. They took her. She married a guy in the tribe. They tattooed her face. She was later recovered and lived out her life as a normal pioneer settler lady, but she had those tattoos for the rest of her days. Pretty crazy. Over here you got the Oatman Hotel. You can't stay in it. Much to my chagrin, dude, I would love to stay in this hotel overnight. It's supposedly very, very haunted. Clark Gable and Carol Lombard had their honeymoon here. They got married in Kingman, and then they had a honeymoon night in Oatman, because even back then, the paparazzi was after Clark Gable. He was super famous. Look at this. Can't see Clark Gable today, but you can get some ham, mac, and cheese. Check it out. You can go inside to get some nachos or whatever. And then look at this on the inside. This place is covered in dollar bills with writing all over them. It's the owner's retirement plan right there. Look at this in the hotel lobby. You have this little snack bar. Then over back this way, you have the bar. And there are even more dollar bills in there. This hotel was built in 1902 originally, burned down in 1919, and then was rebuilt in 1920. Sort of looks like some of these people have been drinking in here since the 1920s, huh? Dude, the last time I was in here, it was totally empty. I wrote my name on a dollar. I stuck it to the wall somewhere over there. It's so full in here right now. I'm not even gonna go down there and look for it. This is nuts. I've never seen Oatman when it's this busy before. Every square inch of this place is covered in money. It's like we're inside Scrooge's money bin. All right, it's been a long time, so I'm gonna go upstairs again. Not only do they have the Gable Lombard honeymoon suite up here that you can take a peek at, but I think there's a gift shop up here now. I also believe this staircase is where they see the ghosts. Look at this. All the little rooms that were here. Man, I wish, I mean, I know it's not ever gonna be ADA compliant. How would they insure it? But I wish they could open up the rooms for people to stay in again. Oh look, room number 5. This is the honeymoon suite. Clark Gable. Frankly, you know the rest. You know the rest. London pointed out it says 15, not 5. I could edit that out and make myself look smarter, but why? Whew. All right, the gift shop's closed up here, but that's okay. There are plenty more down in the town. But much more important than shopping, I want to see the gunfighting. Well, it was supposed to happen at 2:15. It's 2:19 now. Here's your phone back, London. I don't think it's happening right now. All right, continue the exploration. We're gonna stay out of the gunfighting because we don't want to end up like this. I keep forgetting about this. I've really got to try to do this in January. Come out for the Great Oatman Bed Races. They build these beds and they race them down the street. Dude, I love it here. You got all your rock shops, biker shops, you got all the jackasses around here and the wild donkeys. Native American stuff and CBD. Get yourself some local honey. Then you have probably my favorite building in the town, the historic Oatman Drug Company, which was featured in the movie How the West Was Won. Come on, Jimmy Stewart. I can't remember ever being here when this was actually open on the inside. Last time I was here, it looked like it was about to fall down, but it's open up again. See that? A little nod to the Hollywood history. A little nod to the Route 66 history. Dude, this is amazing. Oh, that's cool. Look at the hand-painted old Route 66 sign. Wow, look at the back here. They got all these clothes. London just made me realize it's the first place we've been in a while where there's been carpet on the floor. Fancy. All right, this used to be a museum in here, but I can see now the museum is closed and they've just replaced it with this gift shop, but there still are some cool historic banners with old historic photos on the wall. Pretty neat to be in here, actually. Dude, I know lots of people visit Oatman. I know some people say, it's kind of played out. It's not a real ghost town. There's all these shops, but It's so great. Like, what a great place to bring the family. Oh, check that out. Come see our turtles. What turtles? I don't see any turtles in here. What turtles? Whoa, look at the saguaro cactus just growing through the building and out the roof. That is so cool. And there's a Joshua tree or some kind of other cactus tree thing. They're just growing up out of the building. I never even noticed that before. Oh, dude, hand-painted signs and free museum. This is like paradise for me. Oh, this is so true. So true. Look at this old safe, says this building. 1897 jail punishment cell. Ooh. It's only a punishment for most people. Some people might like being in there. Little free Oatman history exhibits, little shacks and gold panning. Look at this, the haunted mine. Kind of a little facsimile mine so you can get a sense of what it would be like. You can see the adits and the tunnels and some timber framing. This is really cool, man. This is awesome. Uh-oh, dead end. Must be where the ghosts are. Oh, here's an old cage. These are what they would lower down the shafts to get guys 500, 600, 700, 800 feet down in the mines. Imagine being in that. It's just held up by a steel cable and some operators on top. Crazy. You're gonna hear me say it 1,000 times. Hand-painted signs. I just realized across the street I see a sign up there that says jail. I don't know if I've ever been back there. Uh-oh, this might have been a tourist trap because I see Convict's gift shop. Okay, this is actually awesome. Anyone can have live music, but not everybody has dead music. Look at that, they look grateful, but they're not the Grateful Dead. Weird. My gosh, they got little tortoises here. Those must be the inmates. All right. We're going out to the little jail museum. This is the old 1936 Oatman jail. But look at this. They have another little tortoise habitat over here, somewhere down in the cavern, he said. Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that. There's that big old honking tortoise down there. Got lots of ore buckets over here and big old pieces of mine machinery. Let's see what the inside of the jail looks like. I have never seen this. I've been to Oatman a billion times. Hey, welcome to the jail. I've seen it. Look, I got a corncob pipe in my mouth. Wait a minute, that's not a corncob pipe. That's just a corncob. Don't steal my gold. Don't steal my spectacles. Don't steal nothing or I'll lock you up in here for life. Dude, this is cool. Like you step inside the cells and they do have a little bit of mining museum stuff here. I wonder if this came out of that old store that used to be museum. Look at the size of those mining operations out here. Look at the town back in the day, dude. Back in the early days. Oh, this must be the wrench museum. The wrench display. Look at all that. Geiger counters? What the heck? And if I ever get locked up inside of one of these, will you please promise to bring me a cake with a file inside?
What file?
A file so I can file through the bars, like the movies. Or like the cartoons anyway. It's gotta work, right? All right, one other cell over here. Either it got super crowded in this jail or they didn't have too many people to arrest at a time in the 30s. Wait, what? Oh, look at this, got the ATF out in Oatman. Uh-oh, what were they doing? Oh, they were arresting Timothy McVeigh's buddy. Timothy McVeigh got arrested on Route 66 in Kingman. I guess his buddy was hiding out in Oatman. So weird, that's such a random connection. Oh, sorry, dude. Look at this guy, dead tired. He's so tired he couldn't pull up his pants. Bummer. They even lock up the babies. What the heck is this? Whoa! Check that out. Commode. Please tell me you didn't just use that toilet.
No.
Okay, good. Got his burro food. We're ready to feed the burro. All right, we've seen the Black Mountains. We've seen the burros of Oatman. We didn't get to see a gunfight today. We did go to prison though. London has fed the burros, which is a must-do out in Oatman. I think the BLM was trying to stop people from feeding them for a while, but they eventually just gave in. Come on, man, it's been 150 years. We can feed the burro. All right, well, we have several other states to get to at some point, so we're gonna cruise down the street here. We're gonna feed the burro one more time. We're gonna pick up 2 secret items to take with us to a certain place in New Mexico. And then we're gonna head on down the road, down Route 66. We were just gonna stop here for like 10 minutes today, but we decided to slow down. We've slowed our roll. We've adjusted ourselves to sort of Route 66 time. And even though that means we're gonna have to cut some stuff out that we thought we were gonna put in these videos, hey, there's always next time, man. I keep cruising Route 66. We're still gonna see some more stuff today though, so stick with us. Just need to pop in the gift shack and get a secret surprise for New Mexico real quick. That's it for Oatman this time, but we'll be back. If anybody ever lets me stay in the Oatman Hotel, man, with the ghosts, I'm down. I am so down. All right, normally I take a lot more time on this section, at least to share stuff. We're cruising out of Oatman, back through Kingman, and then up to that old stretch of Route 66, that intact stretch of historic Route 66 towards Seligman and past Giganticus Heticus. I love this stretch of road. We'd really like to keep cruising and make a little bit more forward progress, but I cannot help but stop at Hackberry, dude. The old mining town of Hackberry is actually across Route 66 down in there. I've actually never cruised around the old town. A lot of people still live there, but it's the old Hackberry General Store over here on the side of the highway that I love so much. I filmed here a million times. I know, but I like to check in on these places. That's part of the fun, is seeing how they change, seeing if they change, if they evolve. Hackberry has not changed much, man. It is just as beautiful as it is in all those Route 66 calendars and postcards. That's the thing, you see a lot of those pictures, you know, postcards and the covers of books and things like that. And then you get to the real place and you're like, I mean, kinda, I can see where they made that glamour shot. But Hackberry is as you see it, as seen on TV. It's perfect. It's cooling down now. It's just about 103, I think, 100 degrees, something like that. And the birds are chirping, and there's still enough afternoon sun left for it to be nice and warm, but there's a gentle breeze. You got the old gas pumps and the squeak of the old Greyhound bus sign. And my favorite squeak of them all, the old squeaky Bob Waldmeyer historic US 66 sign. Bob Waldmeyer was an artist, very famous on Route 66. We're gonna have occasion to talk about him later on this trip, but he painted this sign. It's just been fading and fading in the sun ever since. Someone better restore it before you can't see the outlines. You'll see it on the other side. He had a very distinctive way of drawing that. Like, his handwriting is very distinctive. And you can see he's illustrated all kinds of different maps and books about Route 66. And so you'll see that very distinctive Bob Waldmeyer style up and down the Mother Road. He lived out here in the old mining town general store. He's the one that made it into this sort of Route 66 treasure before he moved away eventually. Still open for business, plenty of souvenirs inside, nice restrooms, great place to stop. But we're not stopping long today. You're gonna have to look up the entire Route 66 series. We got a whole playlist on this channel. I've gone from LA to Chicago and then all the way back, and then tons of little bonus episodes where we've done then and now history, some deep dives, some attractions on Route 66. But this is my favorite part of the route because this is the sort of untouched historic Route 66 that got bypassed by the interstate. This is the section that really inspired the movie Cars. It's one of the longest unbroken sections of Route 66. And even though there's some towns back here and there's some people back here, it's kind of one of the most fun sections of open road to drive down, and that is for sure. And it is just gorgeous. Something about doing it in the late afternoon, into sunset, into the evening, headed towards Seligman. Just one of my favorite drives. And you're still within a day's drive of LA. So I mean, all those people in Los Angeles, Orange County, all those people that could come out here and see this for themselves and never get a chance, they don't know what they're missing. Just like Lightning McQueen said. And speaking of Lightning McQueen, even though we don't have long to spend here right now, I cannot help but stop in Seligman itself. We're back. Woo, look at that train go by over there. It was a railroad town before it was a Route 66 town. That's why they put Route 66 here in the first place. The railroad paved the way. And of course, before that, the old wagon roads. Look at that, the train's still rolling by. Now, Seligman is now most famous as the town that inspired the movie Cars. And right here, the old copper cart is the birthplace of historic Route 66. Because this is where Angel Delgadillo, local barber and Route 66 legend, held his meeting that eventually led to the establishment of the historic Route 66 and Route 66's revival, not just here in Arizona, but all over the country. We basically breezed into town, unfortunately, right when everything's sort of shutting down and closing down. Better not to tempt me into all the businesses anyway. There's one thing I wanted to look at here real quick. Every time I come to this town, I park right here, right sort of alongside this gazebo. It's sort of in the center of town, then I can walk both ways, check the whole place out. And so I'm always looking right across the street at this big old store over here. It has never been open the whole time I'm there. It is for sale. There's a little for sale sign in the window. It has been for a long time. I love this building because there's multiple layers of ghost signage on it. It's right on the main road. I mean, you can see Angel's Place, you can see the old snow cap, you can see the copper cart and all the businesses and motels. And I've always liked how it has these big old fading, peeling, patriotic murals. I know a big building like this in a town like this has probably been multiple things in its lifetime, but I never really knew what this was back in the day, other than there's some sort of clues up here. Well, As you may know if you watch my other videos on this channel, I love collecting historic photographs of things. Like I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photographs of old Disneyland going all the way back to 1955, the year it opened. But good luck finding pictures of Route 66. Good luck even finding old postcards of Route 66 anywhere. All those old crusty old guys with the 57 Chevys collected them long ago. It's like pulling teeth to find just one or two pictures that somebody took going down Route 66. Partially because back in the 50s and the 60s during the boom years, it wasn't that special, you know? Like you wouldn't just be going down the road in LA, and Route 66 itself wasn't that special, you know? You might have taken a road trip and take plenty of pictures along Route 66, but you wouldn't have typed Route 66 along all of them. Like if you take pictures on your road trip today, you're not writing I-70 on the back of the photo, are you? In all these years I've been collecting old photographs, I have maybe 4 or 5 color pictures of Route 66 from the 1970s and before. And one of the few I have is actually from Seligman of this building. It's kind of cropped in. It's a very weird photo. Who knows why anyone took this? It was in a batch of road trip photos. And look at this. There it is. There's a picture of what was, as you can see, the old Central Commercial building. If you look carefully, you can actually tell it was taken from inside of a car. So I'm gonna have to stand in the middle of the road to line this up. But look at this. There's roughly the same view of that building today. Very weird. No awning. Obviously, they changed the roof line in the back, made it taller throughout the whole building. Sort of hard to read on the side of the building. You see it says Central Commercial Company, Inc. Weird. Here, quality meets price. Kingman, Oatman, and Seligman. So there were multiple locations of this place. And obviously on the front, you can see they sold shoes, meats, groceries, hardware, kind of a one-stop shop. This could have been the Walmart of its day. Actually, I kind of thought I was exaggerating, but think about it. Walmart started as one little small pharmacy. Imagine if this had spread across the country and we were looking at the first Walmart. Weird. You can actually still see the ghostwriting. Now that I know what it said in the old photo, you can see it's a Central Commercial Company, Inc., which is very strange. Meats, groceries, hardware, and dry goods still visible up there. Hard to see. I hope you guys can see that and make that out. That is awesome. It's the only picture I've got. Very hard to get Route 66 pictures. If you've got any, send them my way. I'd love to have them. I know I have a lot of favorite places, but Seligman is legitimately one of them. It's hard to tear myself away quickly. But here's the thing. I have another old picture from Route 66 that's taken not very far away. It's just in the next town over. And of course, the shadows are getting pretty long. London and I need to get into our hotel, which is still a couple towns down. So we're gonna breeze on out of Seligman as quickly as we came and continue on to the little town almost nobody stops in, called Ash Fork. But by the way, if you want more information on Seligman and the story of the creation of historic Route 66 and a really detailed look at the inspiration it had on the movie Cars, I got a ton of videos about that. Links are down below. Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Ash Fork. It's not too far down the highway, maybe 20, 30 minutes if you take the interstate anyways. Ash Fork is the sheetrock capital of Arizona. Look at all the rock out here. They got lots of companies flaking this stuff off for buildings, for flooring, for countertops. But it's also an old Route 66 town that doesn't have too many attractions. Not too many people stop here. I don't really know why. It doesn't have the same buzz that Seligman or Williams or any of these other Arizona Route 66 towns have. They've got a great little museum here that we've filmed before. Just as much history as any other Route 66 town. I mean, if anything, they have even more of the original houses and little old buildings than some of the towns around here do. And this is one of the towns where Route 66 was so busy, they actually split it into one-way streets. So there's one-way Route 66 over here, and then a block or two to the left, you have another big road that was Route 66, which is also one way. That's how much traffic was going through here at one time. You still have bars here, you still have restaurants, giant old historic and commercial buildings. It's got historic former tourist court style motels. Look at cool old neon signs, little abandoned places. And yet for whatever reason, things here just cannot get the traction other towns get, like Zettler's right here. So a family friend, sort of a family connection, a distant one, it's going to be hard to explain quickly, bought this store. It's like my great aunt's childhood It's my great aunt's childhood friend's husband's store. Bought this place and was trying to run it and just could not make it work the way some other Route 66 businesses work. I don't know if they still own it or not. I think they moved to Hawaii now, but this place is called Zettler's. It's an old place. I've gone through it in other videos. And imagine my surprise when I found an old picture taken on Route 66. Here's the picture right here. It looks like this. And I figured out, hey, wait a minute. That's Ash Fork right there. I don't know how in the world I figured that out because all it said was Route 66 on it. And then I was like, those houses on the left side of the street look awfully familiar. And that's when I realized that photo is taken from right here, right in front of Zettler's. Those houses across the street, those are the houses in that photograph. Farther down the road, the curve in the road in the old photograph, that curve is still here today. You can see what's left of the gas stations and the many businesses that used to be there, and not as much there now. And far in the background, on that curve in the road, in the old photo, you can see the old Harvey house. I think that's the old Harvey house, but you can see the old big building that was at the dead end of this road. So I know that picture's taken from right here. I know these two houses are in that photo. I cannot tell where in the world Zettler's is. That house on the right-hand side of the photo, that weird greenhouse, is completely gone. So I don't know if it was taken farther back and you just can't see Zettler's because they widened the road. I can't tell if the photo is just taken right past Zettler's, sort of like this, because some of these houses have disappeared as well, but they were all made on the same patterns, you know? Certainly this house and this house are in the photo. You're all the way back here. It's a longer lens. So they might have been standing right here or something like that, because Zettler's has been here since 1929. It's been here the whole time. And that photo's taken from right around here. You can see these houses are the houses that would have been here in the photo. They're built on the same pattern, so very similar. It's very, very strange, very surreal. Unfortunately, as you can see, we're here right when the sun is absolutely blinding me. So that's a little bit of a mystery that I've been staring at from home and street view. I keep thinking I've solved it, and I haven't quite solved like exactly where the photo was taken from, but that's the kind of scavenger hunt I really love, and I really love to do on my own time, because lining up photos like that usually takes a really long time. You got to figure out what were all the weird changes, what were the lens differences, what kind of camera were they using. But anyways, I'm bummed that Zettler's isn't open at the moment, because I'd love to show them that picture and see what they think. But as you can see, it's the same stretch of road, so even though I can't line it up perfectly for you at the moment, you can see all these trees have grown up, lots of houses are missing, lots of buildings are missing, but back in the day, this was a busy, bumping part of Route 66, just like Seligman, just like all those other towns. I really hope one day Ash Fork gets kind of the respect and the restoration that it deserves. So if you're coming down Route 66, make sure you at least cruise through Ash Fork. Maybe stop at Zettler's when it's open. Not sure if the same people I know still own it or what. I haven't been keeping up to date with my Zettler's news. And I know we could have cruised through here without talking about Zettler's at all, but I thought I'd show you that historic photo at least. Maybe some of you could help me solve the mystery. Here's that mystery photo again one more time. And anyway, that's our last look at Ash Fork, because now London's getting tired. He's getting hungry. I'm getting tired. I'm getting hungry. The sun's going down. It's time to head east over the horizon and on to the famous Route 66 town of Williams. Oh, dude, I love Williams. Gateway to the Grand Canyon, a very popular stop for millions of people on their way up there. Yet it's also a very famous town on Route 66, particularly because it was the last town bypassed by I-40, which means this one survived the longest. And of course, with the Grand Canyon traffic, it survived right up to the present day, pretty much intact. All the little souvenir shops and trading posts survived. All the little motels survived because of the Grand Canyon traffic. What a great place. What an epic place to end an epic day on Route 66. Plus, it's the first time it's been under 100 degrees the entire trip so far. I forgot what 80 degrees felt like. It feels wonderful. Anyways, as for what's next, I have no idea. We're gonna wake up in the morning here in Williams and then decide. You might see us pop back up here in town. You might see us pop up at the Grand Canyon. You might see us pop up in New Mexico. You might see us pop up in Florida. You never know what could happen next on Random Land, but probably more Route 66. Okay. Remember, I have my new book out, Tales from Random Land, if you want to check that out. If you want to support these adventures any other way, Patreon is probably the best way, but there are more ways in the links down below. You could get a Random Land hat. You could get a Random Land Route 66 t-shirt. You could do a lot of things, but mostly we're just grateful that you watched this video. We're very happy that you watched till the very end. You've done your duty. You could go home and
sleep well.
You don't like doing that, do you?
No.
Sleep well.
Look at him.
I'm just saying.
Look at this place, 66's. New twist on old 66. Doing a little bit of shopping in here. Got to support. You can actually buy burrow feed out here and feed these guys. They don't. What are you doing? Thinking about buying a new t-shirt? Oh, you're looking for some underwear. It's a good idea. No? Didn't like the joke, huh? I get it, I get it. Hello.